Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the water crisis that happened in Flint, Michigan starting in 2014. So, in April of 2014, the city of Flint changed its water source for the residential taps from Lake Huron and the Detroit River to the local Flint River, and this was because a state appointed emergency management team stepped in to save the city money because they were going bankrupt. But what happened was after they switched the water source, citizens in the Flint area started to notice changes in their water. You're going to see a picture, and there's a noticeable difference in water color between the bottle labeled Flint and the bottle labeled Detroit. Also, look at the sediment in the pipes on the left picture. So let's do a little exercise. There's clearly something wrong with the water in Flint. So why don't you go through these four exposures and think about which ones are applicable to the people living in Flint. Due to the change in the water source, residents in Flint started to experience a wide array of health issues, including rashes and skin irritation, and most famously lead poisoning. Now, we define lead poisoning as having more than 5 micrograms of lead per deciliter of blood in the body. But you should also know that the EPA says that there is no amount of lead that you should have in the body that is safe. So any lead exposure is dangerous, but this was lead poisoning. Also, because the water source was changed, there was a huge outbreak of Legionnaire's disease, one of the biggest in the history of the US, and this caused at least 12 people to die. Now, there's a hypothesis that this Legionella contamination was caused because less disinfectant was being used, and there were a series of water main breaks which introduced contaminants into the city water system. Also, there was a citywide behavioral health assessment that found that at least half of the residents needed some kind of behavioral health service because there was increased rates of anxiety and depression. Unfortunately, a lot of residents in Flint were exposed to lead through water. In fact, that number was about 99,000 people, and almost 9,000 of those people were children. So think as an epidemiologist for a little bit. What was the increased risk? Try using a 2 by 2 table to find the excess risk of lead poisoning compared with other places.